So here we have a wetland on the Hocking River. There's actually right next to a highway, so you can hear the cars. I wasn't able to find anything about this trail, but it wasn't online, but it's here. And this is one of the most diverse habitats you will find in the southeastern United States, is wetlands, especially along rivers and in open areas, because there are way too many species in here to name in one video. So I think I'm gonna make this into multiple parts. So the first one, well, we're still in the shade. This is giant ragweed, Ambrosia trifida, and it has these 3-lobed leaves, opposite branching, and it has these terminal clusters of flowers right here. And this is extremely prolific. It's actually a native species, but it has been naturalized the world over on every single continent. It's very fast growing, and can really take over in full sun or even part sun, like seen here. And in this whole area, there are at least 20 different species of plants I would have to name, but I can just name a few of them here. So this is rough cockleburr. As we get into more sun and more exposed environment, we will see this a lot more. And this, the native range on this is kind of debated. It is, it's known to come from North America somewhere, so I consider it native. And it is extremely prolific. It has these large burrs that it makes. I can't see any now. I don't think it's flowered yet, but it has these very large burrs that are pain in the ass to pick off your dog, because they are the worst burrs you can get on your dog in their hair. And that's why I can't bring my dog down here in the winter time, because they're everywhere. They just coat the entire ground. And here is white morning glory. It's another native. It has very small flowers, but it's flowering right now. It's an annual. Many species here are annuals because the river floods a lot, and these could be underwater within a year. You never know. So the environment is constantly changing. Here's the flower on it. It's got these little purple specks on it, and the anthers are purple. And it's a twining vine. It's an annual, so it's usually small. It doesn't get too big, but it does produce a lot of flowers. And morning glory seeds, as many people know, are psychedelic, and they will make you throw up as well, though. We will see a couple more psychedelic plants here on the way. So here we kind of have a nice mixing, kind of a medley of invasive grasses, barnyard grass, a couple others. There's probably some corn in here, honestly, from that cornfield right across the river. That's just volunteered in. And pretty hard to get rid of, but they stabilize the bank at least. But they are invasive. And down here we have a flat sedge. I'm not really too great with my sedges, but this one is interesting because of its seeds on there. And we have a sharp-winged monkey flower. I think it's Mimulus alatus, which is a definitive wetland species in North America. Here's the flowers. That one's kind of droopy. This one's better. And these have tiny orchid-like microscopic seeds that just germinate. Pretty much only found in wetlands. This area was probably very wet when this germinated in the spring. So native species. There's also another monkey flower that we will see along the way in the other parts. Allegheny monkey flower, which is further down the river. And now we get to the amaranths. So these amaranths are kind of mixed in with the invasive grasses. And amaranths are kind of annoying to sort out. They're kind of a clusterfuck. But it is possible. So my best guess on this one is Waterhemp, because it has no hairs on the stem, and they have separate male and female plants. This one is a male. You can see it's making a lot of pollen right now. Those are the anthers sticking out, and they're producing pollen. And these are wind pollinated, so they will give you allergies if you are susceptible. And the defining characteristic between Palmer amaranth and Waterhemp is the petiole length. So here, the petiole is much shorter than the leaf blade, but on Palmer amaranth, it would go to at least the edge or further of the leaf blade, but this does not even come close. So Waterhemp, these are all edible. All amaranths are edible, and they have edible seeds too. And these were domesticated by Native Americans. So now that we're getting into full sun, we're going to see some more willows, which take advantage of the exposed environment. This is black willow, most common willow. And you can see that tree there. That is a black willow, and it has these pendulous branches. Very fast growing and pretty ubiquitous in the wetland environment. So here is another psychedelic one. This is Datura. The flowers are closed right now, but you can see it's actually in the nightshade family. I would heavily advise against doing this, because one seed will kill you if you take it, or make you go insane for the rest of your life. But it will make you trip balls as well. So some people do this idiotically and they die because of it. And I've heard that even smelling the flowers will make you have psychoactive effects and possibly hurt you. So I'm not going to do that, and they're not open anyways. This is a nightshade. It's more commonly known as Jimsonweed, and this is a smaller one. They can get 5 feet tall. It's from Mexico, but it's moved up to the US, and here it is in Ohio. And I always find it along wetland environments. So coming down here, there are a lot more species to look at. This is very exposed. You can see the sparseness of the vegetation. So there's kind of these plant islands you can see, and they kind of support each other. And the river is very low right now because it is August and it's very dry out, and we haven't had very much rain. So this river is usually much higher, and most of this is covered by water. I'm sure you can find a lot of arrowheads in here. So here, before we end this part, we have this little species of gourd squash, or pumpkin, probably a pumpkin. And it most likely got here by human shit, because there is a town upstream of us that straight pipes their shit into the river. So that's pretty fun. And this was someone probably ingested a seed of a pumpkin and it came out and sprouted. Or this is the progeny of that. And I'm not really sure exactly what species this is. You would have to let it grow out, but this is not gonna make any substantial fruit because it's really dry out here. And it's not doing too well in this very exposed environment. So in the next part, we're going to cover the plants out here in the more exposed environment. All right, see you then.